bunch of screens open. I just need to find my camera. Hold on.
All right.
Close it.
So we
Close.
are live. First live, we had some technical difficulties. I am Stephen McConnell with Growth Mindset Initiative. I'm an NLP certified coach, and I have a great friend here, Lakanya. I'll let
Growth
her
Mindset Initiative.
introduce you to.
Certified coach, and I have a great friend here, Lakanya. I'll let her introduce you to the coach. And you there?
I am here.
So happy Saturday, beautiful people. I am Laconia Reed, and I am a board certified licensed clinician. I've been in practice, in private practice, and working with agencies, federal, local, and state for more than 20 years. And I absolutely love transformation through mindset. So I love, Stephen, your platform growth mindset. We certainly align, and I am happy and thrilled to be here with you this afternoon.
This is awesome. I think that we're going to hopefully do this at with a cadence to where we just have this maybe podcast. Um,
Yes.
but for today, I think we both agree that I love your wording to this, Lacanya. We're going to talk about the abyss to jumping in to entrepreneurship.
Indeed, indeed, indeed. That came about, Stephen, as you know, you and I have had the privilege of sharing. And I was talking about the abyss, that whole unknown, the scariness of the darkness, which actually it is where the light is. Light meaning your purpose, your passion, and what you were created to do. And so jumping in, what I shared with you is launching into full-time entrepreneurship, full-time differently than having done it part-time for over a decade. Just jumping out there to say, this is it. This is it. And what I shared was I launched into the abyss and I trust that God will meet me there. And so, ooh, it's going to come with all the things that it come with. So thank you.
Yeah, and I recently, 6 months ago, jumped into the abyss, separated from my 9 to 5 corporate job. It's
Mhm.
been a blessing. It's been a challenge. It's been the cutting edge of fear and growth at the same time. And that's why it so resonated with me was the fact that you had said it's an abyss.
Mhm.
And I agree because to the whether it be to the depths or whatever, it's unknown. And
Mhm.
us human beings love to know what we're doing, where we're going, how we're going. So I had learned so much over the last 6 months. And
Yeah.
if I were to sum it up, and I would like actually let me before I say, would you
Okay.
in your you know jumping into the biz, if you were to sum it up into a sentence or two, what would it be that resonates with you that describes it very, very well?
It's interesting. I sat with myself having pondered this for years, for years. Likewise, I separated from my 9 to 5 after nearly 20 years and launching out into the abyss, the deep. The feeling that I get is actually excitement. The thoughts that run through my mind is, wow, what an opportunity to be one of the ones who dare to bet on me. Like, what would life really look like, and what will it mean to absolutely do the thing that I was created to do, which what I like to call so say me, which is my work, as opposed to doing what I was paid to do, which was my job. So jumping out into the abyss, I thought, am I afraid? Right? Fear, which is something that I talked about. Am I in imminent danger? My well being being threatened? Is my safety being compromised? And so once I reconcile that to realize I'm not in any immediate danger. Oh my goodness, what if I don't generate revenue, to take care of my bills, be homeless, and can't eat, the other thought came to mind, then make sure that doesn't happen. Make entrepreneurship about business. Yes, but this is what I've asked for, right? So for me, I feel like if I could sum it up, I am in my ask. I am in my ask with no preconceived notions of what I will go through, what it should be like, what it will be like in comparison to what I've known and what I don't know. I just erased the board on that so that I can manage my own expectations and recognize I am in my ask. That's it. That's all for me. So that's what I think and how it feels is, yeah, pretty exciting. Almost deja vu. And I'll say this, Stephen, it feels like, and I'm struggling with feeling, is because I'm not sure that I'm completely feeling as more remembering. Why do I say that? When I first decided that I wanted to, I felt compelled to do the Business Choices International, which is a group mental health practice, and some of the other things. In that moment of revelation, I was excited, ecstatic, like overjoyed. Having already experienced that feeling, jumping out into the abyss, meaning now separating from my 9 to 5, separating from what seemed to be my guarantee, what I could count on. I've already experienced the feeling of knowing that before I leave this side of earth, I will complete my task and do my work. And so the abyss being here, full-time entrepreneurship, it has to work. Like I've just simply made that decision. It has to work. I'm not concerned with the win. And I'm not really spending a bunch of time on the how. I know the what I'm supposed to do. And I'm laser focused on getting that thing done. And so for me, it's more matter of fact. I'm here. I am sitting in my ass, if I had to sum that up. Long way to sum up it, but that's what I would
Yeah,
say.
no, it's exactly how I feel is if I were to, and I normally don't like these questions of if you were to go back and give yourself advice,
Hmm.
because you know what you know now, but not, you're not going to listen to yourself when you go back. But
Right.
if I were to, and I was to sum it up, it would be do all the things, do the thing that you're avoiding now.
Mm.
And I think that that's the entrepreneurship journey from my experiences. Um, I would have never competed in speaking, but I had to compete in speaking, right? And I would have never, um, written a book. Well, actually, I was in the process of writing a book, but usually I don't necessarily look to complete things. And so it's been that journey of pushing forward and completing the book. And I'm about done with editing, which is great. So
Mhm.
it is doing all the things. I'm getting ready. I'm working on keynote speaking. I'm working on presentations. I've done
Yes.
workshops. It's all of those things that
Yes.
I would have never done, but I would have avoided. Do all the things that you're avoiding.
I love that. One of the things that um the takeaway for me, like doing all the things that you would have avoided if I could go back. Um, I don't necessarily think of it from that vantage point. It's because it doesn't exist for me because I'm here. So when I've made the decision that now is the time I'm here, one of the things that resonates with me is like what I said, it has to work. Right. And so what you hear, I've heard other people talk about full-time entrepreneurship, or what it doesn't have to be entrepreneurship. It could be whatever it is that you feel compelled to do.
Yeah.
It has to be plan A. And so one of the things that I recognize is we are intrinsically motivated by different things, by different things. And for me, uh, I have as most, we have stories. And in my story of origin and how my life has unfolded before me, usually there's a catalyst. Usually there's some point in life for me that says you have to,
Yeah,
right? My
absolutely.
comfort zone is I want to. So I wanted to do my practice and some other entrepreneurial ideas and endeavors. I wanted to, from the place of my comfort zone, 9 to 5, it paid me. I can count on that income. I can count on that salary. It took care of my basic needs. And so each transition of life for me, when I reflect back on just where I've been and where I am from the perspective of that's just what it was, I see that there's a common theme mindset wise, and it is I have to.
Yeah,
So when I had to come up with the money to do whatever it is to make sure that the rent was paid, I got creative. I locked in and got it done. When I had to find transportation or when I had to get through this semester, get through this course, get on the stage, do the term paper, do the presentation, I got it done. And the reason why that's so apropos and it lands for me is in the state of have to, I don't have time to worry about the unknown. I don't have time. There's no space in my cognition, in my consciousness, in my being to second guess. There's no space in me to have doubt because everything is resonated saying you have to. And have to is now. So jumping out into the abyss from that moment that I said, this is it, that part of me turned on, intrinsically motivated to say, no, you have to get this right. What you don't know, you have to learn it, or you have to meet the people who know how to do it. And so I'm intrinsically motivated by that trigger. And I use trigger meaning that's the earmark, that's the benchmark,
yeah,
that's the light switch for me. And for you, it might be something different. And for other entrepreneurs or people who are launching into their abyss, whatever that means for them, you have to find that pattern in your own life. What is the pattern? What is the thinking? What is the thought that you realize it compels you and it moves your feet and it sustains you in the action part of it as you make progression in your own life?
absolutely. I believe I love that because you took it into the intrinsic motivator, and I was sitting there
Mhm.
thinking about my journey, and there are different lulls in the last 6 months where I
Yeah.
stopped doing the things I needed to do. And it was precisely that. I was getting complacent. I was getting not moved to have to do something. But the
Yes.
times where I needed to do something, I did
Hmm.
it.
Yeah.
And that's the pressure of, like for instance, the competition speaking, where I started practicing speaking, and I was in a room closed off the family, and I just sat there and went over every 7 minutes the same speech over and over again, just
Yes.
to embody it.
Yes.
And I absolutely agree that there is a huge element to the current moment
Yes.
and the pressure cooker of you have to.
Yes.
So yeah, I love that. It's just that it's the current moment, and that's where I struggle as a human being is concerned. Is I love dreaming. There's a difference
Mhm.
between dreaming and visionary, right? Because
Yes.
visionary takes action,
Yes.
and dreaming is just sitting back and being complacent. We can dream, we can have all these beautiful dreams, but the intrinsic motivator is the need to be in the current moment and
Yes.
have to do it.
Yes. So 10, 20 years, I guess I've been running my practice part-time for over a decade. And the dream has always been to set up this practice and to be a beacon of light and hope for hurting people, a safe place, a stable, steady place. And I've done that. And the vision, And I like to say that the vision is what you see and the mission is what you accomplish. And so I was clear.
Yeah.
However, the have to motivator didn't kick in, right? Like you said, the pressure point that you have to do this. And that's because the have to triggers, for me at least, a reward or consequence, right? And so I like to say, understanding your own pathology. And what I've learned, which I'm working to shifting, is for so long I have been a paddle person and not a pen person. A paddle person, I say, so say me, are those of us who learn our lessons through pain, through
Mm,
consequence, through adversity.
mm,
A pen person are those who learn their lessons through wisdom, through reward. You know not to speed, for an example, or the person who doesn't get speeding tickets don't speed. Well, they're reward driven. They like that they have a clean driving record. They like that they don't have to worry about if sirens are behind them. It's not them. They can relax.
yeah.
The reward, the pen people say, we're in public speaking. We have established these businesses that add value and support to the community at large. The pen people say, have your notes prepared. The pen people say, to your point, practice your speech. The pen people say, follow the script, right? The pen people engage in thorough preparation. The paddle person, well, you're motivated by the consequence. What happens if I don't? And so, although I have jumped and launched into the abyss, I have to. What's driving underneath that is what's the consequence if I don't? What happens if you do not generate enough revenue? What happens if you do not do X, Y, and Z? And so that energy wakes me up. It won't let me dream, right? That energy shakes me because I am thinking of, if you don't, here are the subsequent responses to my lack of activity, my lack of follow through, my lack of putting these plans in place. The paddle,
Yeah.
the paddle person, right, is driven, intrinsically driven by the pain or the adverse response of a decision, of a choice that you make on the front end. And so the goal eventually for me as I'm transitioning is to become a pen person. So you join the Toastmasters, you finish the editing of the book because your mind is now thinking about the reward of doing those things.
Yeah. That's
You
beautiful.
get followers, you get offers, you get speaking engagement, you become the subject matter expert of what you've authored. You have an imprint and a footprint into society as a whole. So once you get full of the reward, then that too can be a motivator to say, get it done. And so I'm still at the early stages of it, my history, my pathology is a paddle person. To say, shoot, I'm driven. I have to do it because if I don't, my lights get turned off. I have to do it. If I don't, all of these things, and while that serves you to get you started, I encourage myself and even others. The goal will be to shift to the pen person so that you can experience joy in the doing. You can have joy in the process while you're making progress so that it's not so burdensome emotionally.
Yeah. That's very, very beautiful. It's very interesting because here I am listening, and
Mhm.
I was a at times a person who took on being a victim, and also I was a very paddle person, as you would say, to your point. I love that framework because I also had to redefine it. I also
Yes.
had to go through and say, because also there was a part of me, well, not a part of me, a large portion of me, I'll be vulnerable here for a moment, who is a perfectionist.
Ah.
And so in my mind, if I couldn't be perfect at it the first time, I wasn't going to do it.
Right.
And so this punishing myself to not allow myself to do the things that I desire to do and go forth. I would punish myself in many different ways. And then the victim mentality allowed me to justify why the world wouldn't allow me to do it. And
Yes.
so in writing the book, I had to
Mm-hmm.
get over that. And what I had put into the book was this saying that I had learned from my master NLP coach, Jason Snyder. Failure is
Mm-hmm.
only feedback.
Yes.
And so what that allowed me to do was take that simple, beautiful saying and turning it
Mm-hmm.
into an actionable in the pressure cooker, in the moment thing where you
Yes.
experiment and reiterate. And knowing that all experiments lead to outcomes of either failure or success,
Mm-hmm.
you now are no longer failing because it's data, it's
It,
information.
I love that.
You trip, you say, oh, yep, gravity works, you get back up.
I love
And
it.
it was just, that's the journey. And I find that fascinating as entrepreneurs that
Mm-hmm.
we both found a definition that works for us on our entrepreneurship journey, where
Yes.
we're adjusting with our own coping loops, learning and hopefully healing the coping loops, but also we're adjusting and saying, no, it is okay to be vulnerable. It is
It is.
okay to take action. And I recognize this pattern here of me punishing myself for trying.
Mm-hmm.
Mm-hmm. And that, I mean, that speaks to me in regards to how, well, how much farther we've came because,
Yeah.
and that just says a lot to our tolerance to the fear and to maybe the default blame and some of the other iterations within our mindset.
Yes.
I believe you said it very beautifully in the beginning, talking about mindset is the catalyst. I'm going back to that. I agree. 90% of our mindset and subconscious is our own reality.
Correct.
Correct.
Well
Well
said.
said.
I
I
love
love
that
that
you've
you
reframed or
reframe
the
or the
quote
quote
as it
as it
relates to
relates to
fear,
fear,
because
because
what
what
came
came
to
to
mind for
mind for
me
me
is
is
fail
fail
forward.
forward.
Yeah, yeah.
Fail
Fail
forward,
forward,
right?
right?
And
And
deal
deal
with the
with the
fear. So
fear.
I'll
So I'll
share
share
with you,
with
I
you, I
had
had
an
an
experience
experience
during the
during the
COVID.
COVID.
I
I
had a
had a
suite,
suite,
a
a
beautiful
beautiful
suite
suite
where I
where I
ran my
ran my
practice
practice
out
out
of.
of.
It
It
smelled
smelled
good.
good.
It
It
felt
felt
good.
good.
We
We
had
had
beautiful
beautiful
snacks,
snacks,
aromatherapy,
aromatherapy,
music
music
therapy. I
therapy. I
mean, we
mean, we
had
had
it.
it.
I
I
was
was
there.
there.
Well,
Well,
COVID
COVID
happened.
happened.
Sounds like I want to be there.
Oh,
Oh,
it was
home.
home. It was
It
a
was a
part of
part of
my
my
dream.
dream.
Years
Years
prior,
prior,
I
I
had
had
envisioned one
envisioned
day
one
I'm
day
going
I'm
to
going to
run my
run my
practice out
practice
of
out of
here.
here.
And
And
absolutely,
absolutely,
that's
that's
what
what
happened.
happened.
COVID
COVID
happened,
happened,
and
and
we
we
know the
know the
world
world
shut
shut
down.
down.
Well,
Well,
brick and
brick and
mortar
mortar
businesses
businesses
suffered. I
suffered. I
was
was
one
one
of
of
them.
them.
Mm-hmm.
Except
Except
the
the
lease
lease
had
had
no
no
provision
provision
for,
for,
quote,
quote,
act of
act of
God.
God.
Mm.
So
So
I
I
had
had
to
to
come
come
out of
out of
that
that
building. My
building. My
staff
staff
came
came
out the
out the
building. The
building. The
clients
clients
came
came
out the
out the
building. We
building.
had
We
to
had to
shut
shut
down
down
and
and
had
had
to
to
pivot
pivot
to a
to a
virtual
virtual
model.
model.
No
No
clue,
clue,
no
no
preparation,
preparation,
no
no
anything.
anything.
Just
Just
providing
providing
service to
service to
almost
almost
500
500
clients,
clients,
and
Wow.
we
and we
had to
had to
shift
shift
immediately.
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 Wow.
The
The
landlord
landlord
said,
said,
"Well,
"Well,
Laconia,
Laconia,
you
you
still
still
owe.
owe.
Mm.
You
You
still
still
owe."
owe."
And
And I didn't.
I was
I was
like, my
like, my
business,
business,
literally,
literally,
we
we
lost
lost
three
three
quarters of
quarters
the
of the
business,
business.
period.
Period.
It tanked
Tanked
us,
us.
Wow.
fell
Fell
forward.
forward.
So they
So they
were
were
preparing to
preparing to
sue
sue
me
me
because I
because I
couldn't
couldn't
pay it.
pay
I
it. I
don't
don't
have the
have the
clientele
clientele
anymore. I
anymore. I
don't
don't
have the
have the
staff
staff
anymore
anymore
because
because
people
people
were
were
impacted by
impacted by
COVID
COVID
in
in
all
all
types
types
of
of
ways.
ways.
And
And
I
I
was
was
afraid,
afraid,
like, oh
like,
my
oh my
goodness,
goodness,
I'm
I'm
going to
going
be
to be
sued. I
sued. I
can't
can't
pay
pay
it.
it.
The
The
business, I
business, I
lost the
lost the
clientele.
clientele.
And
And
in
in
that
that
moment,
moment,
Stephen,
Stephen,
my
my
brain was
brain was
saying,
saying,
you
"You
failed.
failed.
Mm-hmm.
You
You
failed.
failed.
Look at
Look at
here.
here.
You were
You were
thriving. You
thriving.
was
You was
doing the
doing the
thing. You
thing. You
thought you
thought you
had it
had it
all
all
worked
worked
out.
out.
And
And
boom,
boom,
you
you
have
have
no
no
reserve,
reserve,
no
no
plan, no
plan, no
succession
succession
plan,
plan,
no
no
anything,
anything,
no
no
reboot
reboot
plan. You
plan. You
failed.
failed.
And
And
you
you
owe
owe
these
these
people
people
all of
all of
this
this
money.
money.
and you're going to be sued. Oh my goodness. Oh my goodness. When I tell you, it wasn't, I couldn't even sit with the process that I was going through because that conversation, you're a failure. You don't know what you're doing. You bit off more than you can chew. You're not prepared for the big leagues of entrepreneurship. You're not responsible. All of these things. And I had to confront me. Like, why would you tell yourself that? Success, quote, and failure, do you know that it is the same coin? There's a heads and there's a tails. You're just on that side of the coin.
Yeah. Yeah.
So I said, I got some help. How do I negotiate this contract? How do I talk to the leaseholders? I'm sorry, the owners that I held the lease. I am legitimately legally responsible. And I sat across the table, Stephen, from the people, and I got some help. A friend who was versed in this type, this was what they did, and negotiated the terms while I sat there as a student. Why am I saying that? Entrepreneurship, you don't know, you don't have all the answers. You're not. You've not yet passed that course. You haven't even taken it yet, but that's okay because the teacher is always present. And so I sat there at this boardroom table with my hands folded, a copy of the contract that I signed, while the person who came to assist me is going through this contract. Did you read it, Laconia, before you signed it? Did you realize this when you initially? Did you realize that? Like meticulously going through this contract.
Wow. Yeah.
Well, I hadn't read the fine print. I just it's no reason. I just did not read the fine print. See, the perfectionists, this is the part that they are, that read the fine print, negotiated the terms. I ended up paying off that debt. I was a woman of my word. We negotiated. I was able to get out of it. And why am I saying that? Because I had to reconcile, did I fail or did I fail forward? Because the next time that I needed to negotiate a contract or there was some situation, what went away was fear. I said, you know what? Let me pull from that past circumstance and take the nuggets and the meat from it. The first thing is prepare yourself by understanding what you're reading. Go ahead and read it.
Yeah.
If you don't know what you're reading, raise your hand and ask some questions. Right? And so because I had that experience, it made me a better negotiator and or a better comprehender when I'm reading contract, leases, and terms of engagement, et cetera, et cetera. Now I read it. And even when I have to renegotiate or something happens, I no longer hide from it. I don't put my head in the sand and just wish it away and pray it away. I can confront it. And so I'm grateful for that experience that I thought that I failed. Well, no, I actually fell forward because it changed me. It prepared me. It gave me a skill that I was lacking. And so in entrepreneurship, it's one coin. There's a heads. When it's wonderful. And there's the tails. And that's that back end stuff. That's the lawsuits. That's the liability. That's fumbling. That's missing the deadline. That's not understanding a lease or contract. That's owing more than what you brought in. That's the book did not sell. The retreat did not fill up, but you still have vendors. See, that's the tails. And I now believe that the tails come to test you, to vet you, to see if you want what you said that you must have. Are you really built for it? And so in that, because I was able to get through that, and by the way, that was an 18-month to 2-year process.
Mm-hmm. Yep.
It wasn't overnight. It was 18 months of me doing what I said I would do, which generated the have to. I had to pay this payment plan. I had to.
Yeah.
I had.
It's just so powerful. I mean,
Mhm.
and my mind is going to all these key points I want to point out because I love where you're going. First, First was when you're in the emotions.
Yes.
It's amazing where our mind just kind of jumps to and tells stories.
Yes.
Then the second thing is you are what you practice.
Mm.
And I love that because
Mm.
when pressure is there and time is there, if you're not preparing, and I'm not going to say preparing in the sense that you overthink and you do all the things, but preparing to sharpen yourself within the current situation,
Yes.
then you're absolutely right that entrepreneurship isn't for that person.
Right.
And I think that I've been there 3 or 4 times now, but I
Mhm.
most certainly haven't hit the huge edges of, like, of lawsuits or anything like that. So I hope I never do. I hope you never do.
Mhm. Mhm.
Um,
Oh,
but um, yeah, it just that kind of preparedness
Mhm.
is just I don't know how to describe it. Where I'm going with this and thinking about this is just being in the current moment and saying, I need
Yeah.
to read this. I need to negotiate. I need to be vulnerable and ask for mentors and coaches and understand it as much as possible. And I
Right.
think that that describes entrepreneurship just as much as pulling yourself out of, going back to the very first point, pulling yourself out of those stories of
Yes.
where your mind goes, because even if it's even if it's positive, it's not the current moment, and it's not it's at that point in time a dream. It's just a matter
Yeah.
of
Yes.
you remind yourself of your North Star always. It's
Always.
important, but always in the current moment ask, what can I do now? How can I
Mhm.
solve this now? How can
Mhm.
I, where can I, who can I? All of
Mhm.
the beautiful questions. And I think that goes back to, I can speak for mindset work. I'm not certain. I would imagine, and maybe this is be my next question is in therapy, is it also important to keep a critical, not a critical, a curious mind? Because it seems to me that it's so beneficial to be currently in the curious mind to act.
Right.
Yes.
Yes.
So I
I
offer
offer
two
two
services.
services.
Therapy, I
Therapy,
would
I
like
would
to
like to
describe it
describe it
as
as
getting
getting
insight
insight
Hmm.
about
about
past
past
experiences,
experiences,
how it
how it
landed
landed
on
on
you,
you,
and the
and the
narrative
narrative
that
that
you've
you've
told
told
yourself
yourself
as a
as a
result of
result of
it.
it.
Okay.
Okay.
So
So
in
in
therapy,
therapy,
oftentimes
oftentimes
people
people
are
are
struggling
struggling
mentally and
mentally and
emotionally
emotionally
sometimes,
sometimes,
and
and
that
that
struggle
struggle
manifests
manifest
in
in
behavioral
behavioral
relational
relational
dynamics.
dynamics.
Yeah.
And so
And
we
so we
want them
want
to
them to
get
get
in
in
touch
touch
with the
with the
narrative that
narrative
they're
that they're
telling
telling
themselves.
themselves.
And
And
so
so
again,
again,
it
it
is
is
still
still
connected to
connected to
mindset.
mindset.
That
That
narrative
narrative
that
that
you're
you're
telling
telling
yourself
yourself
shapes your
shapes your
beliefs
beliefs
about
about
yourself,
yourself,
which
which
becomes
becomes
your
your
mindset.
mindset.
And
And
so
so
I
I
work
work
with
with
people, and
people,
it
and
is
it is
important
important
for
for
them
them
to
to
be
be
able to
able to
acknowledge
acknowledge
that
that
and,
and,
just
just
so they
so they
can
can
understand the
understand the
pattern
pattern
of
of
how
how
they
they
have
have
now
now
been
been
programmed
programmed
or
or
programmed
programmed
themselves to
themselves to
take
take
agency
agency
to
to
change it
change it
for
for
themselves,
themselves,
right?
right?
And
And
so
so
that
that
shows
shows
up
up
in
in
entrepreneurship
entrepreneurship
and
and
or
or
coaching when
coaching
you're
when you're
working
working
with
with
people
people
to
to
get
get
them
them
to
to
see
see
their
their
own,
own,
to
to
see
see
what they're
what they're
saying.
saying.
This
This
is
is
my
my
belief.
belief.
So
So
say
say
me,
me if you can
if
if
you
you
can
can
see
see
it,
it,
what
what
you're
you're
saying at
saying
the
at the
unconscious
unconscious
level,
level,
you
you
can
can
solve
solve
it.
it.
Yeah.
Right.
Yeah.
And
And
so
so
with
with
perfection,
perfection,
for an
for an
example,
example,
I
I
don't
don't
subscribe
subscribe
to
to
perfection.
perfection.
Um,
Um,
I
I
adopted
adopted
progress.
progress.
I
I
don't
don't
believe
believe
perfection
perfection
exists
exists
because
because we can
you
you
can
can
learn a
learn a
little
little
more.
more.
You
You
can
can
each
each
day
day
can
can
be
be
different.
different.
And
And
so
so
I
I
allow
allow
myself
myself to go through the process for progress, because perfection for me gives me an out. Since at the unconscious level I know it doesn't exist, then I get to justify my procrastination.
Yeah.
Well, I'm not doing it because if I can't do it right, like the one and done stops you from learning. And so the way that I've chosen to address my own procrastination, needing it to be perfect, is to say, make progress. Especially as an entrepreneur, make progress. If you are looking to, let's say, public speak, launch your book, whatever your clothesline is, whatever it is, and I'm had struggled with this, is I wouldn't do the next right thing, the next necessary thing, because the photo didn't look right. The video was terrible. The lighting wasn't optimum. I don't have a perfect studio. Like looking for perfection sometimes slow us down from making the necessary progress, which will teach us the lessons that we need so we can move to the next chapter of our evolution in our businesses, in our experiences, in our exposure. And so that in entrepreneurship looks really similar to what people look like when they too are stuck in therapy. And it is understanding, what are you telling yourself? What is that mindset? So we can debunk that. We can reframe that. We can retool that to a mindset or a belief system that allows the individual and ourselves to be able to move forward.
So powerful. So powerful. So build, and I'm gonna try and sum this up because you'd said it so beautifully. Build, starting with curiosity, build the awareness so that you divert the energy away from what is not serving you,
Yes.
so that you can move forward on the cutting edge.
Yes.
I love that. I love
Yes.
that.
The question that I ask is, does this add value to me? Whatever you're thinking, whatever you're believing, does this add value to me? Does this thought, this belief, does it help you, or does it hinder you?
Yeah.
And so whatever it is, from what you're going to eat, what you're going to wear, whatever it is, if you start practicing talking to yourself, and I'm going to hear me say this, so say me, talk back to yourself because you believe you. And so when I ask myself these questions, do you have to do this? And I answer me back and say yes, if you want to pay your light bill. Then it voids me from the excuses. I'd rather do something than do nothing, because the mindset is I'm going to at least learn. I love what your mentor and what you said. Failure is simply feedback.
Exactly.
And I don't know how to move forward and progress and get better without the feedback. The compliment is feedback. The praise, treat them equally.
Yep.
Praise is feedback. Criticism is feedback. The lighting was perfect. Do more of that. The lighting was trash. Do less of that. Right? So however you receive it, you want feedback, and you can only get the feedback if you're in the present, if you're doing the do. Right? So the biz, it challenges you to be here.
Yeah.
Yeah.
That's for me, that's the challenge, is to be here, just to be here. Because I'm a dreamer. Building it into being a visionary. We've been on for about 38 minutes, almost 39 minutes. And I think that I want to simply say that this is a beautiful journey of being in the cutting edge, being our best selves. And the title of it for right now happens to be entrepreneurship, and it'll grow into other things.
Yes.
We'll go ahead and wrap up at this point. But LaKanya, where can everybody find you at?
They can find me at choicesintl.org. That's the email, or choicesintl l.int.com, Choices International, 240-389-4685. We are on social media. Chai or Choices International. We're on Instagram. We're on Facebook. We're on TikTok. So, yep. You just Google us, and we will show up.
Awesome. And you can find me at mindsetgrowth.com. That's MY, as if you're owning your mindset, MYNDSET growth.com. I'm also very active on LinkedIn. So those are the two that you'll get major responses from me, but I'm also across all the other platforms. And I will be scheduling these in a cadence so that we can continue to have conversations. If you're viewing this, I encourage reach out and ask questions. This way we can have a topic for you that you want to listen to and be a part of. So
And I would keep growing. I was going to say, I will add one of the things that makes this, Stephen, what we're collaborating and doing together. So when people reach out to connect and ask questions, we're actually in the stage of doing it. And we're not in the place of having done it, right? So we're giving you real experiences in real time of what entrepreneurship is like. Yes, in umpteen years when we have done it, we can look back and reflect. But you're getting real time wisdom, real time exposure, real time experiences, so that you can file it under the T for teaching. So when you need the teacher of this particular principle, you will have it to go to.
Precisely. And you're also getting it from a point of view of professionals who understand how the mind works.
Yes.
So that is also very blessed. I also want to say, Lacanya, I've just put two and two together. I had learned from you and I had mimicked you. So this is hopefully a compliment. So say me. I'd learned this when we had met, that you had so say me. It was very beautiful to me. But I had put quotes of myself in my book as I was writing my book. It's coming out this summer. And then my editor's like, wait a second, we don't just do quotes. The whole book is you.
Yes.
So then I turned it into core reflections. And so in this way, I feel that the original idea was from you, Lacanya. I love the So Say Me, and just keep it up.
That's a brand that we've launched. It's going to be in clothing and on home decor. It's another entrepreneurship, and that's the brand. So say me, and it is the original wisdom that I believe that I've gotten or getting downloaded as through my life journey. And one is some of us are paddle people, and some of us are pen people.
Yeah.
Say me.
It's beautiful. Lacanya, thank you for meeting. Thank you for your patience through the technical difficulties. I'm going to go ahead and say goodbye to quote you, goodbye, beautiful people. I love that.
Until next time, I will see you, and thank you for having me. Bye-bye.
All right, I ended the YouTube